family has given me a lot to work with, so it's going to take a while. But don't believe anything that I say just because I say it. That's as foolish as you believing what they say just because they say it. You need to look for proof and truth. And so tonight we're going to deal with something that Michael Francis said. Mica, my wife, had 7 dads. I think her mom's married 7 times. Michael Francis is the biological father, and he said the other day on some show something to the effect of Mica's one of her tattoos, my name that's my signature that is tattooed on her body. He inferred that meant that I owned her and that I was controlling and manipulative, and I made her get that tattoo so I could brand her and stamp her and say that she belongs to me. And that's not really how it worked. The first time she got my signature tattooed on her, it was when we were dating. And I was actually in New York on a vacation, and she sent me a picture of what she had done, and I was surprised. A few weeks later, we broke up, and she covered it up with a lotus flower. And then we got married, and then a few years later, she got my signature tattooed on the other side of her body. But I don't think that it means that I was controlling and manipulative. I don't think it means that I owned her. I don't think it was a brand or anything I forced her to do. It was completely her idea. And I don't know why Michael would think that. But if you do think that's what it means, if somebody has, someone else's name, their signature even, tattooed on their body, if you think it means that person owns them and, that they are over them and they're controlling, then what would you say, Michael, about this? I am here to let you know that my silence is nothing more than wisdom and self-control so that we can win the war that is up ahead. And I am looking forward to presenting over 350 pieces of proof on what Mica thinks about her family and what Mica thinks about her lawyer and the things her lawyer's saying and the things that her family's saying and Charlotte and all these other people that are saying things. People forget that Mica corresponded with me more than anybody else on planet Earth. And I know her heart. And I have her text messages, and we're going to disprove all the lies that are out there. And there's so many lies, it seems like everybody thinks the world is flat. And you ask them why, and they say, well, it says on the news the world's flat. Or, Robbie Stinky Harvey said that it's flat. Or JLR Never Investigates says that it's flat. But when I get to court, I'm going to show you that the world is round. And you're going to be shocked at some of the things that you see that Mica says. And we're going to find out actually who is responsible for my wife's death. And Mica will have justice when it's all said and done, and I'm going to make sure of it. So thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you soon. Minutes after the check was cashed, they posted on Facebook they needed money from all of you for their travel expenses. Help me understand why. I texted the entire family and said I'd love for you to come and see Mica's body. Here's the times that the funeral home says is best. They thumbed up the message, and about an hour after that, they posted on Facebook that I would not let them see Mica's body. Please help me understand that. They said I forced them to sign some cremation paper that I knew nothing about, had no idea what they were talking about. Days later, I was given this piece of paper that the mom and dad both signed saying they wanted Mica to be cremated, and they chose to have that, which I totally agreed with because of the way that she passed away. I thought that was what was best, but nobody forced them to sign anything, and I don't even know what they're talking about with that. They said that I pushed the cremation to happen quickly to hide things. The national average is 3 days because after that, the body starts to smell. She was cremated 6 days after she passed away so that her ashes would be ready for the funeral the next day. While the family was there, I told the funeral director, I said, let them know that I'll pay for all the urns that they want, with the ashes in it. I'll pay for jewelry. Like this stainless steel cross has Mica's ashes inside. It's the only ashes I have. They have all the rest. The funeral director called me and said the bill's going to be $18,000. I said, why? He said they all picked out 24 karat gold jewelry. So I said, please call them back and let them know that if I'm paying, they got to get the cheap stuff. And it was still well over $10,000, but I didn't mind because the way you treat people is not based on the people. The way you treat people is based on your own heart. And so if you could help me understand the answers to those questions, I'd appreciate it. Being abused does, but she wanted that tattoo and she wanted me to get her signature, so I showed up and did it. The reason I preached the day after she passed, the night before that midnight, I had 5 people at my house telling me not to preach and I would be crazy for doing it. I didn't listen, and it's because at first I didn't believe it. I'd spent the past 3.5 months doing everything I could to keep her alive. My goal was every single day to find somebody, some way to get her medicine, because I told them that she was going to commit suicide if she didn't get her lithium. And I went to her pastors, counselors, doctors, policemen, judges, friends, family, roommates, everybody you could possibly think of, and nobody believed me. So to get that call that night that it happened, I'm sure you can imagine what a failure I felt like, as well as this just can't be true. It can't be my worst nightmare. There's no way. And so I think maybe the family was playing a trick on me or something. The other side of it was, I thought if it is true, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to do anything. I want to just keep living my life as if it never happened, because I wasn't ready to believe that it happened. So the next day I preached like a fool, and then I made my announcement for everybody to be quiet and leave, because like a moment of silence, like you do, in respect. I did it kind of like, I don't want anybody to be talking about, suicide or mental illness or asking me questions, or I just wanted them to leave and go talk to Jesus about it and then talk to me at some later date. I was not prepared to deal with any of it at all, and I'm sure you cannot imagine what it's like to be trying your best to keep somebody alive and then to find out they passed, and then how do you handle yourself in that next 24, 48 hours? I don't think there's a manual on that. So if it offends anybody, I apologize, but I did the best I could with what I had. And God bless.